Hello and welcome back to the Ealing Road podcast after a very, very enjoyable win against Fulham at the G-Tech last night. Today I'm joined in the studio by Clayton. Clayton, feeling good after yesterday?
Of course.
Making his Ealing Road debut is Jordan Nugara. Jordan, how you doing, mate?
Not too bad, thank you.
I hope you've got a story prepared for the funniest Brentford story.
I've been thinking, don't worry.
Okay, sound. Do you want to do that now or do you want to do it at the end?
Do it at the end.
Yeah, do it at the end. Cool. Let's just start talking.
Yeah.
Let's just start talking about the game then. Clayton, some performance last night, wasn't it?
That was great. I've watched it about 3 times back. A few contentious things, allegedly. But no, very, very happy with the result. My dad said he watched it on telly as well. He said that as a neutral, Brentford was just the better team.
Yeah.
And I think we were. One of the things I was most impressed by was just we won every single second ball. And someone like Damsgaard, I'm sure we'll get on to.
Yeah.
Kind of not notorious for his ball winning skills. Was just immense, just all over the place.
Yeah, I
was very impressed.
Yeah, I was watching the game in that first 10 minutes. We started so fast. I can't remember a game where we've started that fast in a while.
No, I watched it back again today. I was flicking through, and that first, we could, even before we scored so early on, but we probably should have had about 3 goals before that as well. Tony that was a great shot as well. If you think how far out he is and sort of how he's actually managed to bend it out. At the time, I don't think you've realised how close he actually was to scoring that one.
Yeah.
And Wemo should be scoring the first one with the ball cross. But again, a great ball cross by Henry as well.
Have you seen the replay where you can see it from the sideline and it's literally just a tap in? Henry puts the ball across and Mbeumo basically waits a bit too long for it to come to him. And by the time he actually reaches the ball, he's at the wrong side of the net. But it's you see it from the other angle. It's oh come on, you really should be getting across there.
He seems to really compose himself before as well. He does take his time. If anything, he probably takes a bit too long because as he does shoot, the ball seems to be on the up, and that's what gets him. And it's on his weak foot as well. He just doesn't get over it.
Yeah, we do need to talk about a couple of incidents besides the goals. Firstly, a lot of noise about Tony. Should he have been on the pitch? What do we reckon for that challenge? I don't know if you've seen it in the highlights when he kind of. It's not intentional, but he goes in and Rakic goes to the floor and his boot looks like it collides with his head.
No, it's never a red card.
I think Tony alluded to it in his interview after the game, and he says, and he's completely right. If you look at it, he's kicked him in the head, but he put his head down. He sort of slid in down.
Yeah.
I think Tony even says as well he pulls out of the challenge because he sees him sliding in. Yeah, never a red card.
If we think about red cards, there's only one man that should have had it.
Yeah. That second yellow.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't
completely.
given.
Was it Anthony Taylor completely bottled it?
I know. Yeah.
Completely.
Well, I don't understand how. I don't know why he's not given that as a second yellow. I think it's a yellow every day, 99 times out of 100.
Yeah, because if he's not been booked earlier on, then he books him straight away.
Yeah, he's on the counter. He's just running away from him.
Yeah. I think What do we reckon on the penalty? Have you watched it back yet?
It was more of a penalty. Mitrovic's pull on Tony was more of a foul than what he gave in the same phase of play than the penalty they actually gave on Nugara. But I think.
If that happened on the half again, even the Nugara one happens on the halfway line and the free kick gets given. No one's really batting an eyelid there, are they? So
he gets done the
8 yards out. Yeah, it's still a foul regardless of where it is.
Yeah, I thought it was soft, but if you actually look at it, he kicks the bottom of his foot. So it's a foul anywhere else on the pitch. So.
If that was the other way around and we gave away the penalty, I think we'd be a bit miffed, but you wouldn't be there's no justification for it. There's clear contact. It's a bit soft, but it's clear contact.
But when you watch it back as well, what you said about the Tony challenge in that same phase of play. I think when the Fulham players are surrounding the ref afterwards, you can sort of see the ref point at Mitrovic and Tony as well. I think the ref does say as well, there was also this one in the build-up as well.
How were the nerves before the game? I remember when we were in the pub, I was so excited for this game. Were we confident going in?
I was drunk, so yes.
I think I was fairly confident, but I always, these games, kind of form goes out the window a little bit. But that first 10 minutes, as soon as that first 10 minutes was done, I was like, there's no way we're losing this game. We've started so fast.
Yeah, there was a good period in the first half where after we scored where Fulham had the ball.
Yeah.
But I thought we contained them quite well.
They had a bit of the ball, but they didn't create anything. I think until they scored the goal, they didn't really force Raya into anything. And even that's not a lucky one per se, but we have the 2 free kicks at the crossbar.
Yeah.
It could have easily been the other way. One of ours could have bounced off the bar and fallen nicely for one of our players. It just happened to be that their one did.
Yeah, exactly.
And even then, I think the only save I can really remember Raya making after that was about the 88th minute. He sort of Mitrovic headers and he sort of gets across
Yeah,
and tips it
and
comfortably.
the goal at the end where
Yeah.
he probably should have done a bit better.
Yeah, no, he should have done a lot better with
Yeah, he
that
should
with
have
that
done a
goal
bit
at the
better
end.
then.
It seemed like everyone had just stopped by that point as well because
Yeah.
there was like a lazy clearance from Pinnock.
Yeah,
then
yeah.
like a bit of a half-assed shot from them 30 yards out.
Yeah.
Reyes sort of spoons it a bit.
It's actually quite a good finish. You get it over the goalkeeper from
Yeah.
that
No,
distance.
we need to talk about Damsgaard's performance. It was probably to the annoyance of Will.
Will, he's getting a lot of abuse on the West Ham last night, wasn't he?
Well, I had the misfortune of being in. So when it was Colchester away game, obviously the one that Will had decided Damsgaard was terrible. What nobody realises is as we would drive into Colchester before the game, I picked him up from work. He was sat in the back of the car. He'd written Damsgaard off about halfway up the M25. That's when it started. Like halfway up the M25, Will decided he was terrible.
As well, another good performance from Kevin Schade. That was that goal, especially. Like he's so quick.
Yeah, that was we alluded. I think we spoke about it with Jay last week. We were kind of saying like he's looked bright, like sparkly.
He's not been bad,
but like he hasn't really had the minutes or the time. He's getting a bit more time now, and like we were kind of just waiting for that first like bit of quality, weren't we? And I mean, he just kind of breezed past Robinson.
Yeah, no, and Robinson's no
quick
slouch as well. Yeah,
He basically. I watched the replay and they showed it quite a few different angles, and basically, he just went past him. Robinson tried to put a challenge in, but he had to pull out because he was basically going to give away a penalty, and that's how he got past him.
And then there was also one about 5 minutes after that where Schade picks up a lot deeper. I think he's just inside our half, and again he goes about 30, 40 yards, but again he's like deceptively quick because when he's running with the ball, he doesn't look like he's sprinting, but he just does glide past the defenders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we talk about the flares? Because it's got a lot of lots going on Twitter today, especially on the GPG. I saw Tom tweeted earlier about someone saying that he should.
Did you see that?
I did, yeah. So it should be shot on the pitch at half time or something.
He should be knelt down and shot in the back of the head or something like that.
Cliff Crown should do the executions, I think.
I feel like whatever we say on this topic, it's just going to go down badly.
I understand why people are angry because it kind of ruined the tempo of the game, and I don't
care about that.
But like,
I do also
no pyro, no party.
I think it is a bit of a reach. I saw some people on the GPG blaming Fulham's Fulham's second goal in injury time on the flares.
What? Because they had to wait.
I had it 8 minutes on, and the tempo had been a bit disrupted. That's a bit of a reach. I think there is legitimate discussion to be had about flares, but. That was a reach, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like in Europe, like they chuck the flares, like they have like fireworks displays at grounds.
Yeah, I'm partial to a flare. I think it's good fun for a big game like that.
We used to get them all the time, but like they just.
There was like a phase in Ealing Road, wasn't there, about 5 years ago? We literally, we'd like pull a goal back against Bolton, and then like 3 smoke bombs would go off, and like, what's going on? Like this seems a bit over the top.
I think you'll find all those people are banned.
I was surprised that so many Fulham fans left early, even though they were like still in the game. Before we'd scored the second goal, there were still people leaving. I saw.
Really? After
I think
2-1?
so. Well, I saw people emptying out. Like I saw the North Stand sort of saying cheerio, cheerio.
I wasn't really surprised he does it.
I know, like, but it's like West London derby, like.
Yeah, but it's Fulham.
It's not even as well. Maybe if they were having a terrible season and then you're getting rolled over by your rivals, you're like, okay, right, I can't be able to see this. But like. Still above us in the league by a point, aren't they?
Yeah, I know.
Like, it's not as if they've been playing well as well. Like, even at 3-1, you just sort of back yourself to not be out of the game completely.
Yeah, exactly. When they got the goal back, just a minute earlier, they could have missed it.
Can we also just dispel any thoughts about Fulham not caring about Brentford and them saying that their main rivals are Chelsea? Because there is no fucking Chelsea fan that gives a single toss about Fulham.
Yeah, yeah.
There's not.
Chelsea, and probably rightly so, don't really have much of a rivalry with any of the teams in West London.
No,
just because they're kind of that step.
Well,
above.
not that
they have been forever.
Yeah, it's Tottenham for them. It's not.
Yeah, Arsenal's kind of got a history as well, and like even teams like Liverpool. Obviously, it's not geographical, but like historically, they're bigger rivals. But we touched on it with Jay, didn't we? About kind of different rivalries. He was kind of like, "Oh, how loud do you think it's going to be?" And be like, "Oh, it'd be a bit louder if it was QPR, but it's still a big deal."
Yeah.
But you do get the classic tweet. Oh, we don't even care about you. Why are you trying to force a rivalry?
But if you don't care about just so much, why are you tweeting to say you don't care? If I don't care about something, I don't talk about something I don't care about. Doesn't come up, does it?
Exactly. Another man of match performance from Ivan Toney. I think anyone trying to compare him and Mitrovic anymore, let's just get rid of that argument as well. Like he's levels above. Surely? Yeah.
He's definitely. Yeah, I mean, people all over Twitter, like big journos, like absolutely raving about him.
Yeah.
But
BBC did a big
Carragher
bit.
yesterday was absolutely. I think after the game there was about a 25-minute segment just discussing Ivan Toney because he's just an all-round footballer as well. That's the thing.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was, but they were saying he wouldn't look out of place in like a Barcelona team with like his depth of touch and like his just awareness. I mean, I don't know, it might be a bit of a reach that.
You definitely wouldn't get Jay saying that.
But yeah, Jay, we're still lobbying for that. You were there, Jay. You were there. You saw that game.
One of these days, one of those chips from the halfway line is going to go in because he's tried it. He's
Leno
tried
was
it.
scrambling, wasn't he? It was like, fuck.
Well, he did one for Pete. He scored one for
Yeah.
Peterborough, didn't he, from the halfway line? Even the Leeds one as well was about 25 yards out for the one he scored against Leeds, I think, as well.
Oh yeah,
so,
that's Phil. I mean, there wasn't anyone in goal, was there?
But he's tried that now like 3 or 4 times. I remember
He's getting closer each time as
I
well.
think it was Blackburn away in the Championship when it was COVID, during COVID maybe. He tried it from like the halfway line, almost went in. One of these days, we're going to get that goal. But yeah, Mitrovic, nowhere near as good as Toney in my books.
No, he's much more one-dimensional than Toney.
No.
Didn't have anything at all last night, Mitrovic, did he? Can't
No,
remember.
he's been out of form
Boxes.
for a while now, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He hasn't scored in a while, Mitrovic.
No, and he missed the last 2 games of injury, but yeah, I don't think.
Because they were sort of neck and neck, weren't they, for goals at the start of the season? I think
Yeah.
Mitrovic was always seemed to be 1 goal ahead, but I think Toney's pulled about 4 or 5 clear.
I might be wrong in saying this, but do you remember? I think it was against Newcastle. He missed that penalty where he kicked the ball twice. I don't think he scored since
Yeah,
then.
I don't think he has actually, no.
It's not quite QPR not winning since the Queen died, but well, I don't know if that's actually technically correct. I think that's just been
No.
around.
The last time I saw it on Twitter, it was like the last time they won a game. The Queen was still alive. QPR.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace, Queen.
That's what she'd have
Go
wanted.
bust QPR.
That's what she would have wanted. Queen.
Anything else you want to talk about in the Fulham game? It's just fun watching Brentford at the moment, isn't it?
Any antics in the pub before, Jordan?
I enjoyed myself in the pub before. I said I did have to rewatch quite a lot of the game today before coming on the podcast.
I didn't realise how battered I was.
Yeah, you got a few fragile voices on the pod today.
We'll move on to the next segment of the podcast. At this point, we'd normally do the away days segment, but today we have something a bit different. So I got a message from a couple of weeks ago on Twitter from a guy called Adam Rose, who's a Brentford fan. He's just released this book called Farewell Griffin Park, and it's basically a book of a film of photographs taken throughout the final season at Griffin Park. It features a photo of the ground full and empty and focuses on its quirks and the different people who filled the ground each week. It captures Griffin Park in all of its glory, documenting the relationship between the ground and Brentford fans, as well as its role in the community. Amongst the photographs, as we can see, are pictures of players, managers, people related to the club. So Bob the Kitman's in there as well, Peter Gillam, and even some with the landlords of the 4 corner pubs. It's an A4 hardback with 45 copies and is available to buy online. Just send him an email, which is farewellgp@gmail.com. And the amount of copies you'd like to buy and your address, and we'll arrange the payment. Booking the fee for the book is 18 quid plus postage. Adam sent us the copies to have a look at. I was walking past Griffin Park yesterday because I don't normally drink at the Griffin before the games, but obviously went to meet you lot. And I hadn't actually walked past Griffin Park since we stopped playing there.
Serious?
No, and it was horrible. It was really sad.
Yeah, well, did you see that they're
work
doing the
like
final
that,
work
aren't they?
today? Yeah, on the Bremen Road stand.
Yeah.
It's going down.
Also a coincidence that Adam's been texting me for the last couple of weeks, and we've just been trying to hash out when the best day would be to promote this book. And I told him we were doing the podcast today on Tuesday, and Jordan told me in the pub yesterday that today is actually the 3-year anniversary of the last game played at Griffin Park. So how is that for timing?
7th of March. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the best memory from Griffin Park, do you reckon?
Best memory.
Yeah.
Jota in last minute,
Yeah?
or Andre Gray tapping it into open net against.
Borough.
Yeah.
I think that was definitely the best Ealing Road limbs. I think that's the most Ealing Road's ever gone off was that Gray goal against Middlesbrough.
Yeah, but that Jota goal, I don't know. Maybe it's just the age I was as well. Like, I don't think I'll ever forget that. Just coming off Dan Burns' arse and.
What made that one more even special as well was I think everyone forgets about it now because they knocked us out the cup earlier in that season as well. It's like the most forgotten sort of. They rocked up at our place, took the mick a little bit.
Yeah.
McCormack scored the goal. That's when they were singing the Ross McCormack cost more than your grounds and all that.
That aged well.
Yeah.
We just couldn't beat Borough that season. I remember, I don't know how that Borough team didn't go up because they lost in the finals to Norwich, right? I think
It was 2-0, I think. Jerome got 2, didn't
Jerome,
he?
Yeah. But that Borough team, they just had the better of us. Both games, both playoff games, both games in the season, both playoff games.
Well, I'd said as well to everyone like that season. I said if we'd avoided Borough in the playoffs, we'd have got promoted that season. I said, and if we'd made the final, we'd have beaten Norwich in the final. The way we rolled.
That's who Borough played that played Norwich.
Cameron Jerome, I think Cameron Jerome got both, I think, didn't he? It was like 2-0 Norwich.
Yeah. But yeah, so I will post the link to get this book in our Twitter bio, so stay updated on our Twitter page.
Yeah, some good photos in there.
Yeah, shout out to Adam. It's a great book. Hopefully be getting a few orders from this promotion of the podcast. But yeah, moving on to Everton. Should we have a little chat about just how we're feeling before the game?
Looking forward to it.
Yeah?
Be up bright and early on Saturday morning.
Yeah. Well, we've got the 8:30 train, isn't it?
Yeah. Me and Aaron are working out what time we'd have to leave ours. It was like 7 a.m. But it'll be worth it.
Yeah.
Once are you up in Liverpool the night before? Or?
Oh yeah, I'm going back. I'm doing Friday to Sunday. I went to uni up in Liverpool, so I'll be up there for the whole weekend making the most of that.
Nice. Are we confident going into that game?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why we shouldn't be as well, but
Because it's Sean Dyche.
I think it's just off the top of my head, like I don't think our record against Sean Dyche's Burnley was the best.
No.
Just off the top of my head, just thinking about when we played them, I can't remember too many times where we've actually beat them.
I can remember them getting the better of us quite a few times. Yeah.
the away game last season.
Yeah, and you had the Friday night game at Griffin Park when Tarkowski went on strike in the morning, didn't he? And
Yeah.
Joey Barton pinged in a free kick from like 35 yards.
Yeah, they were like very very good that season.
Yeah. And they went up. Was that the year they went up?
Yeah, I think so.
And they did. Did you watch them against Forest on Sunday? They played quite well. I was actually surprised.
I caught bits and bobs of it. Yeah.
They played quite well, and it kind of, I don't know why I'm not 100% confident that we're going to win, because we should be. Like these are the teams that we pick up points again, and we look at this run that we're on at the moment, but it just does look like a potential banana skin.
Yeah.
I think as well we're sort of maybe lucky-ish in the sense that if we were playing them slightly later on in the season, because no doubt whatever they'll end up going on their little run like they did last season, doing the whole fireworks coach greets, parading the dog in the street. And
They already did that. They already did that for the Liverpool game, didn't they? They lost.
Yeah, it can definitely be a toxic place at Everton sometimes.
Well, I do think though. I think since we've come up, especially the best atmosphere I've experienced so far in the
last
Prem
season
was that first 10 minutes of Goodison last season. You could see as well, like the arses of our players fall out for those first 10 minutes, especially when they got the goal. And then, but after we regrouped and sort of calmed down and we're like, okay, no, right, we start playing our football again. We calmed the crowd down, and by full time they were Goodison again, booing, turning on them. So.
Yeah. No, that atmosphere last year was crazy. It was nuts. It was so loud.
Come 90 minutes on Saturday, I want to hear the infamous boos. I really want to hear it.
What are we saying then? Predictions for this weekend?
1-0.
Lots of beer.
1-0 Brentford. Yeah, no. 1-0 Brentford. Do you think? Should we go 4 at the back or 5 away from home?
Dyche is a 4. Yeah, he's a solid 4.
Should we match up?
I don't know actually.
I think we do.
Yeah, probably.
Do you start Damsgaard?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you start Sharda over Wisser?
I see. Do we? Because Sharda was so effective coming off the bench because he was just so rapid and they were quite tired.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you lose a little bit of that if you start him?
Yeah.
But I mean, he's going to be going up against Tarkowski and Cody at the back, so then neither of them are quick.
I would. If I was Thomas Frank and I found out that Seamus Coleman was starting, I would just match up Sharda against Seamus Coleman and just then run straight past him.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a good game, a good occasion. That's been a relatively short episode. We got through. The thing is, like when Brentford are winning, there's just not. We're pretty good. That's basically what it is. There's just not much to talk about.
Europe, like the table now is looking mad.
So if we beat Everton, there's potential to move up to 6th until Newcastle play on Sunday. I think Brighton are hosting Leeds, or they could be at Leeds. I can't really remember. But yeah, Fulham have Arsenal at home. And Newcastle host Wolves on Sunday, so potentially we could move up to 6th with a win.
We're like 4 points behind
at the moment.
Newcastle.
Let's have a look.
Well, I think we're only not getting too carried away. I think we're only 7 points off 4th. We've got 2 games in hand on Tottenham as well. So
yeah, I was looking at it this morning, so I should remember really.
I can't find it now. Tables.
But
moving up to 6th though, like that's the kind of conversations we're in now. It's crazy.
Well, yeah,
we're looking at when teams like Liverpool are now winning at the weekend, and Liverpool are pulling away from us now. It's like sort of shows how far we've come, really.
I know, and like we're in dangerous territory of jinxing here, aren't we? We're 12 unbeaten, but you look at the games coming up.
The 3 we got coming up.
You've got Everton, and then you got Southampton.
Yeah,
and then what is it? Leicester.
Leicester at home, isn't it? Yeah.
Big strong Leicester boys.
Shout out to Jake. I can't actually. The table just isn't coming up for some reason. But
you're having a shocker over there. Let me get it up.
But I think we're a point behind Fulham with 2 games in hand, and they have Arsenal on the weekend. So they're probably not going to get any points from
Is
that.
it Arsenal? They're playing Arsenal away.
Yeah. No, they're hosting Arsenal. They played Arsenal. They played quite well at Arsenal, to be fair, in the reverse fixture, but they drew, I want to say. Or maybe did they lose? I can't remember. I know Mitrovic.
They conceded late, didn't they?
Yeah, Mitrovic scored.
Are we for Arsenal winning the league this season?
Yes,
Well,
I think that result against Bournemouth was that's like a defining moment in their season. Like as soon as Bournemouth went 2-0 up, I knew that they were going to turn it around.
They did it with Villa again the week before as well, didn't they?
Yeah. No, they keep facing these hurdles and they just keep overcoming.
Well,
them.
we could have quite a big say in that, couldn't we? We've got City home on the last day, I think.
I know.
So yeah, we're 3 points behind Newcastle. Play the same games. They've got a bit of a goal difference.
But they've slumped massively recently.
We're on the same points as Brighton, but they've got a game in hand. But then Fulham are a point above us, but we've got 2 games in hand. Okay, this might be a complete trife, but you know the kind of theories like, okay, we've got 2 games in hand, but they're against X, Y team. Isn't that a complete load of shit? Because you still got 12 games. Like if I've got 14 games and you've got 12 games left, it doesn't matter who the 2 extra teams are because you could just swap them for 2 harder teams later in the season. Like you still just have that amount of fixtures left. It's like Brentford have 2 games in hand, but they're United and City, so it doesn't count. But it's like, well, if I swap United and City. For Bournemouth and Southampton, it doesn't matter when you're playing them. You have them in the rest of the season.
The only benefit is having the extra games to pick up the points. It's not who they're against because
exactly.
as you said, you got to play them anyway. It doesn't matter. That's not the.
It doesn't matter if it's the game that makes you catch up. Yeah, it doesn't matter because you still got more to play.
Yeah.
We're up there. I don't know. I mean, realistically, we speak about it most weeks now, but. Do you think
it's just like every week we speak about it? It's like, are we going to do this? Probably not.
We've only got 14 games left.
14 games left. We've only lost 4 times all season. It's just crazy. But you go back to those losses. We were 3-0 down against Villa in the first 10 mints. Lost 5-1 to Newcastle. What are we putting those down to? Just
the other 2?
It was Arsenal at home, wasn't it?
So I only lost 1 at home.
That's the only game we've lost at home. Yeah, I think we've only drawn 3 at home as well. We've won pretty much every game at home.
Who have we got left to face out of the top 6? So Tottenham away.
City Liverpool at home last game of the season.
Liverpool United away. But we've only lost to Arsenal at the top 6.
We're setting ourselves up so much.
This episode's going to come back as a turning point, isn't it? By the end of the season, you're going to
go get battered 5-0 by Everton on the weekend.
But I mean, if form is a guide, then
at least I don't think we're going to get relegated.
We've got 38 points. I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, I'm confident on Saturday. Not as confident I was going into the Fulham game, weirdly, but just I don't know why.
I think it's being at home though. I do just back us to be. There's not
under the
many
lights
teams in the world.
in the presence of Jamie Carragher.
Yeah, hopefully we get another red card or something.
Right, I want to hear Jordan's story now.
Go on, Jordan's story. I was just about to wrap it up.
Yeah, I know you were.
I was racking my brain about this, and it's. I hope no one else has. None of the previous guests have gone for this one, but I was torn between 2. The one I went for it was Swansea away, the famous Swansea away in the cup a few years ago, but we lost 5-1. But we so because the game was on a Sunday and there were no trains on the Sunday, so the club had done 3 coaches, but we all went up on the Saturday night anyway. Thought, we're doing a night out in Swansea.
Was this Will's story?
No, Will's.
It was a different one, wasn't it?
Yeah, Will's was different.
I wouldn't tell you.
No, it's fine.
Okay,
I know the story, but maybe we didn't do it on the podcast.
I don't think I've heard this one.
Go for it.
Anyway, so we decided to put Tom in charge of booking the accommodation for the night, which was it was the issue that ensued was Tom's fault. However, it was probably our fault for putting Tom in charge. And got into Swansea at about 8:00, and obviously we've been drinking on the train, so we're a little bit tipsy at this point. And we'd seen the photo of this supposed Airbnb that we were staying in, and we're like, this doesn't look.
What, good? Or
no, it just doesn't look. This doesn't look like a house, or this I'm pretty sure the house next door to it had been burnt down. There was nothing next door to it. At 7:30, we knock. So about 5 or 6 of us. We knock on this fellow's front door, and this little confused Spanish man opens the front door, looks at us. He's like, "Oh, you're right." And we're like, "Oh yeah, we booked to stay here tonight. We've got a booking Tom Ritchie," and he goes, "What, you booked to stay here?" We're like, "Yeah, on booking.com, this is this address." And he goes, "Yeah, this is his address." And he goes, "How have you booked to stay here? This is my house. I live here with my wife." So we're all just at 7:30 in Swansea, all a bit drunk already at this point. We're like, "What?" Okay, and he goes, "Oh, well, one of you, I'll come in and show you." So we send Tom in as well, again. So he comes in, looks around, and he comes outside, and so not really grasping what's going on. Tom goes, no, that's amazing. It looks just like the photograph from there. It is his house. And we're like, well, obviously we can't all crash here. This poor little Spanish man and his wife are just like really, really confused. A 5 lad from London. Yeah, can we stay here tonight?
What happened in the end?
Well, we just went to, there was a pub opposite. So we just went to the pub and I think we just having a little scroll and we ended up managed to find a B&B about 2 miles away, which thankfully had a couple of rooms. I think we were quite... There weren't enough beds for the amount of people that had to be crammed into these few rooms. Yeah, we found somewhere in the end. But yeah, poor little Spanish man.
Yeah,
No one's told that in the podcast. You told that story a couple of weeks ago in the pub, and I enjoyed it just as much as that's what I remember. That's why I jogged my memory.
Did you hear Jay's last week about milkshakes? Thomas Frank.
Oh, I didn't know. No.
He went up to Nottingham Forest, and because there was no trains that day, he came back and got home really late. And the milkshake machine wasn't working.
This is in Brentford McDonald's as well.
Yeah, and he went to the press conference the next day and they were asking him about Forest, and Thomas Frank, I don't know if it was one of his colleagues or someone else, asked him, and Jay just said, no, I couldn't get a milkshake when I got home. And Thomas Frank in the press conference was like, what? You couldn't get a milkshake?
I'm fairly sure there's a video of it. I'm fairly sure it's like pre the press. I mean, I'm just thinking. I mean, we said at the end of the season we're going to review all the stories.
Yeah.
So what have we had? We've got Jordan's one. That's definitely up there. That's funny.
Got Tias's.
Get out the city.
Yeah, get out the city.
That was more scary though. I think when yeah.
Yeah, my one was all the players running into the tavern.
That was good fun.
Which involves Jordan. Yeah. Yours was.
My one was when I was a mascot and my dad was somehow managed to get in the away end.
Well, that's a bit like. Have you had Mark on the podcast yet?
No.
Right. I don't. It might not be a story, but one of my favourite stories about Mark was it was just after they'd moved the away end. From the Brook Road. So they just moved the away end from Ealing Road back to Brook Road. I think Mark hadn't been for a while, and he was like 10 or 11 when kind of his dad. And they apparently used to always sit in the Brook Road. Didn't realise that I had been now moved and it was now the away end. And he said he only realised just before kickoff when he was sat in his seats and everyone around him had Leyton Orient shirts on.
That's the most Mark story ever. What was Will's? It was funny. It was the first episode, was it?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what it was. I can't actually though.
What?
He went. It wasn't one relating to Germany, was it? That was Tias's. I can't remember now.
That's really bad because it definitely was funny. But then maybe it doesn't stick in contention if we can't remember it. And then. Natalie's
was about her being one of the Soccerettes on Soccer AM.
Oh, yeah.
Which wasn't actually a Brentford story, but
yeah,
it was still.
Have you seen what they got her on, didn't they? About 15 years.
Yeah, she was speaking about it. Yeah, she still didn't know what to talk about. Apparently, that's the last time. No, we've had some good stories. Maybe an extra one tomorrow.
Yeah,
add some contention. This one could be a very good one.
No,
very good one.
By far the question. Well, for anyone that doesn't know, we're interviewing Jonathan Douglas tomorrow. We're doing a podcast with him. By far, the most asked question was about Jota, so we're definitely going to try and get that out of him. The whole incident.
Not sure that'd be funny though.
It won't be funny, but I'll imagine that.
There's definitely some good night out stories from that bunch of lads.
Oh yeah, like him, McCormack, Craig, and everything. All of them, you can definitely tell they were good value.
No, that's going to be a good podcast. So yeah, look out for that. The Ealing Road podcast will be back after Everton. We're kind of deciding whether to put a podcast in that covers both Everton and Southampton or do 2 separate ones. And also look out for the Jonathan Douglas one that we're doing tomorrow. Not sure when we're going to release it, but we'll pick a time and make sure that it's advertised across our socials. So yeah, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and buy this book as well.
It's actually some of the photos are actually so good. So yeah, definitely give it a go.
I've put the link in our bio, so you'll be able to order it. But yeah, so we'll see you next week. Cheers.
Thank you.